Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be finally taking a look at my 500-day hardcore Minecraft masterpiece. This video took me about 6 months to create, just get the content for, and another month itself to edit down. I did all this while I was in college at IU, so showing any love, support on the video just really means a lot to me. So as I'm recording this, I haven't really decided on how I'm going to commentate the entire video. But I think I'm just going to be popping my head, back in the video here and there to kind of give you guys the playthrough, the play-by-play, I guess, on what's going on inside my mind, what's my next, strategic play, why I'm building what I'm building, things of that sort. Before we dive in, I'm going to make a few comments on the video itself. I live in a fraternity house at IU, so there's going to be some things in the background that I can't really control. This is kind of just due to the fact that there's 60 20-year-old boys living in the same house. So there's also going to be muted segments here and there due to the music that we listen to in the background. So kind of just expect, a few blank audio segments. Now, what's kind of crazy is I never really imagined creating something like this. So as you watch, you might witness progress happening at warp speed. This is because, unfortunately, not every moment was captured on camera, but don't worry, I've got you guys covered with timestamps throughout the video, giving you the power to explore highlights at your own pace. I've condensed a whopping 200 hours of gameplay into about a thrilling 45-minute adventure, so as I said before, if you enjoy, show some love, as this video took me over a month to create. Join me as we witness this incredible transformation from this tiny mushroom island into this thriving, sprawling, private island mega city. So there I was after doing your first day of basic hardcore Minecraft activities. I just really wanted my base to be on a mushroom island. Now you're gonna see here in the future, I'm just gonna be going on a 4-day journey to this mushroom island. Now, I don't know where it's at beforehand, but I know where they spawn. I know it's out in a deep field, or a deep ocean biome, warm ocean biome, things of that sort. So, just hence my skin being a mushroom itself, I just really wanted to get to a mushroom island. So you're going to see me kind of just go through a whole looting process of, just evaluating what I need, what I don't need. It really comes down to just 4 days of inventory management. So here I am again, like I said before, just going through the whole looting process of getting to this specific island that I wanted to get to. And you may be wondering, how am I getting these buried treasures without the treasure map? Well, if you use your pie chart, you can actually kind of figure out and determine where exactly these kind of spawn. And once you get used to it, you don't really need the map anymore. So I kind of got lucky here and found a few on my way to the outskirts of this island. And it's pretty lucky. So what you kind of want to look for right off the bat is just 3 diamonds, and those 3 diamonds kind of allow you to get the obsidian to make your nether portal, and go get all that loot in the nether. So I finally get to one mushroom island, and by the way you can kind of tell I'm looking at it, I don't really like it. I don't like how it's kind of high in some areas, low in some areas. And I don't really enjoy the size of it. I kind of was hoping for something a little bit smaller and, something that I could expand on and kind of create my own, area, my own biome. So here I am finally sailing up to the island that will once become this mega city that you saw earlier in the video. At first, I was like, no way I can build here. This is way too small. It's going to be awkward trying to build in the water. But then, the other side of me was kind of saying, this is exactly what you want. You want to kind of create your own thing, create your own pathways, buildings. Just come up with your own imagination. And so that's exactly what I did. first thing was first. I had to dump my inventory into this chest and get ready for all of the landscaping that I was about to do for this mushroom island. The first thing that I planned on building was my little shack. And this is kind of what I use to just store all my supplies. I never was really too fond on building a house until I had the necessary materials to make it look decent. This wandering trader did end up scaring me to death, considering that nothing is supposed to spawn on this island. I kind of really didn't take into consideration that wandering traders could spawn in. So here's me kind of taking my first steps on what I want to eventually see out of my final base. And right now, like I said, it's just going to be me building my shack. But these kind of things that I built take a lot of visualization and prepping, and kind of just knowing what you're going to do is kind of just helpful. I kind of wanted something symmetrical and something that kind of met at a point to where I could access all of the areas that I needed to access by standing on one specific block. So you'll see me kind of demonstrate me kind of building around this one particular spot, and you'll see how this is helpful. So after I got the basics of the shack assembled, I figured it was probably time to go out and explore, gather a little bit more materials, and I was kind of hoping for a lava pool here in this desert, and you know, that's exactly what I found, so I'll show you guys that. So at this point, I'm kind of prepping on what I want my next build to look like, and I don't want to spoil it yet, but I figured since I'm in the new 1.19 update, I should make it out of mudstone bricks. I think they look pretty cool. The cement, just kind of that whole deal, kind of based on where I'm at on the mushroom island, I felt like it kind of just went in with the whole mud and, you know, droopy, damp area, and so that's what I did. So after I came back from gathering all those materials, I didn't really like the way my shack looked. So here's me kind of just editing and fixing the way this looks for my kind of satisfaction. So finally, after I was done making up my mind on what looked good for my shack, I decided to build the heart and soul of this island, and this is going to be the villager breeder. The reason that the villager breeder is the heart and soul of the island that I'm building is because it allows me to get all of the resources that I would rather need to get mining. I can just get from the villagers themselves. For example, the armor villager sells you all of the diamond armor once you get him fully enchanted, or I guess not fully enchanted, fully leveled up. And the key to leveling up these villagers is sugarcane farms, iron golem farms, pumpkin and melon farms. Things like this will just skyrocket your villager level and allow you to achieve simply broken trades with these guys. I'd also like to mention that this villager breeder is my own design. I've not seen any other design like this on YouTube. It uses the design of water flow and gravity to sort out the baby villagers from the grown-ups. It also puts them in their own chamber once they are fully grown. And so here's me kind of starting the basics of the iron golem farm. This is a design that I looked up on YouTube, considering that every single update the iron golem farms seem to change their mechanics. So this is the new 1.19 extremely efficient iron golem farm. Now, the key element for this iron golem farm to work would be a zombie in the middle to constantly scare the other villagers into creating the iron golem itself. Now, I wasn't at the point in time yet to where I had access to name tags, but there is a way around name tags if you are trying to get your zombie not to despawn. And that is to find I think it's about a 1 out of 3 possibility for zombies in hardcore to be able to pick up items. And if you allow a zombie to pick up an item that you have dropped, they will not despawn anymore. So that's exactly what I did. I created a little platform outside of my base to where it was not a mushroom biome anymore to allow mobs to spawn, and I simply just waited until I got a zombie that could pick things up. So after the Iron Golem farm was fully up and functional, I decided it was probably about time to get a good source of food coming through. And this is where I decided to create the automatic villager farm type of deal, to where it's, you know, carrots, potatoes, wheat, beetroots, and it uses the mechanic of villager breeding to funnel what they throw at each other through hoppers into chests from the farmer villagers, simply just farming up the crops themselves. Now, I wanted this farm to look relatively decent too, so you'll see me kind of use different varieties of wood throughout this and kind of give it its own little area. I'm kind of one to make everything look good and perfect and symmetrical, and that's exactly what I did in this, so enjoy me making this villager farm. What's funny is I actually end up changing the design to this automatic villager crop farm at least 4 to 5 times throughout this video. For some reason, I could just never get it to look the way I wanted to. It never kind of just flowed with my island. And so if you see kind of just this random new building pop up in the same spot over and over again, it's just me just changing the design. So now that I had a food source and a income of XP, I figured it was about time to start guiding these villagers into the correct trades that I wanted to. And so now you're going to see me transform a bunch of zombie villagers into what I think are going to be farmers, and this is just so I can get the best food source in the game, which is golden carrots. But later you'll see me transform these into, you know, clerks, into toolsmiths, like I said, armorers. All of these villagers can give me everything that I need to have without leaving the island, and this is the important kind of design I was talking about earlier. Now that I was level 35, I figured it was probably about time to create my own enchantment room. And what I did with this enchantment room I really liked, and I really liked the design for it, and I will definitely continue to do this for future Let's Plays. But this design was with the amethyst and the oh man, I forget the was it diorite? I don't know the name of the white block, but it was kind of the design of the emeralds kind of shining with the purple and the white, and I wanted it to kind of be like an underground experience, you know, kind of something that was mythical and kind of just found underground near my base. So here I am just kind of going around my base, getting the necessary maintenance that I need to get done. I finally get my first enchantment, which is on a bow, little power 4 guy there. Kind of hoping for a little bit more than that, but you know, that'll do. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of prepping for the Ender Dragon fight. I kind of put it off for longer than I would have hoped, but I just wanted to really make sure that I was going to get it done. Yo. That's huge. That's huge. See you, gang. It's probably the last time I might ever see anybody. Here I am making my first appearance to the dungeon itself, just grabbing that achievement, I Spy. It didn't take me too long to find the portal, but once I did, you'll see that I made a little nether portal there, and this is just simply because of the fact that you travel faster in the nether than you do in the overworld. This is just an old Minecraft fact, I'm sure you all know this. But I like to allow myself the capability of just, you know, kind of running through the nether a bit, creating a little safe tunnel just to get to the end if I needed to. Finally, after a long-awaited, probably week, I finally took down the Ender Dragon in my hardcore world. This last arrow shot definitely did not hit, but you know, we take those. And you know, you'll just kind of see me loot up the egg, loot up the end city, and go grab my elytra. And that's exactly what I do. Give me that shit. Boy, come on! What else did you ask for? Here I am after I got back from the title screen of finally beating the game of Minecraft. I decided that I wanted to create a kind of realm for my Nether portal on my island. And like I said before, this is kind of why I chose this small island, was so I could just personalize all of the things that I wanted to create in my mind. And I've always liked the idea of creating your own kind of Nether realm. You know, it's kind of corrupted your base in a kind of way. Basically, I just like the way that it kind of corrupts my base, and I think that's kind of a cool aspect of the Nether portal itself. Finally, on with the sugarcane farm. Now that I had achieved my elytra, I figured it was about time to create the paper farm and the gunpowder farm. This is my last straw on why I really needed to build the gunpowder farm. I had put it off for way too long, and this was simply just my source of gunpowder for the entire time. I would just go out to the desert biome and slay out creepers for 45 minutes. This was easily the most dangerous part of the entire Let's Play. I feel like I needed a little bit more protection on this base. You can never be too safe, so figured I might as well just spawn in as many iron golems as I could. Here I am, like I said I would, changing the design of my automatic villager crop farm for the first time. Again, a little rinse and repeat of the villager transformation process. Here I am doing the famous 1.19 trading mechanic bug slash not really a bug because it's been in the game for about 4.5 years now. Finally catching my first fish after all of this time still makes zero sense to me. I kind of got greedy and envisioned a whole row of these librarians giving me the power to just infinitely create emeralds and experience, but I never really got around to creating the full row, so this kind of just ends up leading to a big gap stairway in my island. I knew that I wanted to build my creeper farm out of cobblestone and mossy cobble and stone bricks, that kind of sort. I figured it kind of went along with the whole creeper thing, considering they used to have their own cobblestone biome in the jungle. So here's me creating a automatic cobblestone generator that prints me stacks of cobblestone by the minute. Finally, it was time for the most tedious build of this island, which was the creeper farm. Now, this thing scared the hell out of me. I pretty much figured that it was going to end up killing me at one point due to the absurd amount of creepers that I saw this produce in a video. I'll leave the links to all of these farms that I built that weren't my own design in the description down below. But here is the trapdoor design, as I would like to call it, of the 1.19 creeper farm. Now, this build did take quite a long time due to the process of where I had to constantly rotate each stone material by the hand. I figured this would look really cool, but I knew it would take a long time. But in the end, it was definitely worth the view. After just getting the basics up to this creeper farm, I knew that I put this in the exact right position that I wanted it to be, and I loved the design of it. I loved the way it looked on my base, and I loved the whole staircase I made for it as well. By this point in time, I had made a bunch of cats around my base. The automatic villager breeder that I created spawns in cats because the game itself thinks that it is a natural village itself, so it spawns in cats to kind of just go along with the village. Here's me just taking a break, flying around my base, or the island I should say, and kind of just taking it all in, everything I've built, everything I've accomplished so far. I really can appreciate. As you can see, I'll just be flying around for the next minute or so and doing a little bit of maintenance. As I said, just taking in everything I've done. So after I was done just collecting the basic resources from my base that I could, I decided it was about time to create the actual home instead of my little shack that I just stored all of my materials in. I started off with just kind of digging in through the ground and underwater. I wanted to create a little view throughout the ocean that I could kind of go down and observe what's underneath. Now you can finally see that I've got the basics of what I want to be my future house in the process. I really enjoyed the brick and the quartz idea. It took me a lot of time to come up with my own idea on what I wanted to be my home on this island, and this is by far the most beautiful thing I've ever created on a hardcore Let's Play. Here's me yet again changing the automatic villager crop farm for the third time. I think this might be the final time. I don't know, we'll see. But this time I decided to go for a wood and water flow design. You'll see me kind of update it throughout this. Right now I'm again kind of just taking in everything that I've built. I really am super surprised and grateful that I could come up with something like I did for my home base design. The brick, the quartz, and the whole underground section really just puts it all together for me. That's really everything that I would want to see from my home design and just what I could come up with. I really enjoyed the front appearance. So finally, for the fourth time, I come up with what I think is the last design for my automatic villager crop farm. It's a sandstone idea with the kind of pyramid design at the top. What I have going on inside, and you'll see, is that I have 4 farmer villagers yet again just producing me emeralds and golden carrots for all of the pumpkins and melons that I have growing inside the space. By now I figured it was probably about time to start building my own personal kind of comfort bases around the island to populate the area. This is me deciding to build a mushroom base, considering that I'm on a mushroom island. I wanted it to be kind of a floating, kind of mythical, magical island that was mushroomy in kind of the red, gray, blue, purple type of deal with plants coming off of it. Looked like it kind of just got uprooted from the earth, and you'll see me kind of design this throughout the video. I wanted a little bit more life on this island. The cats and the iron golems weren't really getting it cut for me. So I figured it was probably about time to bringing in some wildlife of its own. The pigs, the sheep, the cows, the chickens, they were all welcome here at this fancy island. So here's me creating their own personal house and habitat. I was kind of going for the red and white look for the barn idea because most barns are obviously red and white, but I couldn't really come up with the specific enough idea in my head to create 2 identical barns side by side. I kind of like the idea of back in the 2011 era of Minecraft where it would just be the casual zigzag design of different colors, and so that's what I did for the animal farm. all of these builds and all of the things that I've done so far on this world had kind of scared me, considering I was only on 1 life and none to spare. This is when I finally took into consideration that I needed to get a Totem of Undying. I decided to build a raid farm, and this raid farm is specifically 1.19 working only, I'm pretty sure at this point. So building this might not be a good idea in your own world. This 1.19 raid farm was incredibly efficient and produced me more Totems of Undying, emeralds, bow and arrows themselves, etc. Just way more than I could ever need. I could give a lot of thanks to the creator of this raid farm. Again, like I said, I will be leaving everyone's automatic farm ideas that aren't mine in the description down below. But yeah, this raid farm I had to obviously build out of the Mushroom Island biome itself. Here's me finally taking on the Wither. Although it was a cheese, I was not about to risk everything that I've built to just die to the Wither. I needed beacons on my world. I needed the regeneration. I needed the speed. I needed the strength. I figured in order to make my island a home itself, I needed to have these buffs active. I was incredibly nervous upon starting this fight. I didn't know if this glitch was going to work or if it was going to start flying around in the end, if I was going to have to jump back in the portal and just risk losing my end city forever. But luckily the glitch ended up working, and this is how I ended up building my 6th beacon, which you'll see in the near future. Got it, baby. Oh my god, it glows when I hold it. That's actually sick. So here's me just deciding to build my first beacon itself right outside of my cobblestone generator and the little platform that I've made. You'll see that I've also made a coal, oak, or wood, let's say, generator. This just simply turns any amount of wood, or any type of wood, I'd rather say, into coal itself. It's kind of just a side idea that I decided to come up with just for smelting processes. The funny thing is, after I built this beacon, I actually hated the way it looked, and I hated that it was kind of far away from the main area that I was going to be standing in. So this is when I kind of decided that I wanted it to be under my base, and you'll see the idea that I came up with here. So I built the 6th beacon with the first Nether star that I achieved right under my base, right next to the shack, right next to my home, the villager breeder, the heart and soul of my base, to where I could constantly have all 6 buffs at all times. I was feeling that my island wasn't too secure. I kind of felt the idea that someone was watching me. Someone could easily just sail up to my base, take control of everything that was going on. So I figured I needed a giant wall. I looked up a bunch of ideas of walls online, saw a bunch of cool ideas, and this is my own personal design of a giant wall around my base. This definitely was the most time-consuming project that I had built yet so far, but I will say this is definitely one of the better looking projects that I've built. Now, you may see in the background as I'm building this wall that I have a giant mob grinder in the background. Like I said earlier in the video, some things are not going to be recorded, and this is one of the things I decided not to record. I was a bit too nervous. I don't know, I might not have gotten around to hitting the record button. Something might have come up, I have no idea. But yeah, there's just a giant mob grinder in the back now. It works very well. Infinite amounts of string, bone, rotten flesh, arrows, you know, you name it, spider eyes, everything comes out of that farm. It's an automatic water kind of contraption where there's a little redstone design up top to where it pushes everything that spawns in on each layer out to the bottom to where there's more water, and then that yet again pushes them down to the middle to where I can hit them with a looting sword. But yeah, there's just a giant mob grinder in the back. Yeah, kind of just built that over the cobblestone generator. It kind of just does its own thing. It's obviously out of the area to where it's not in the mushroom biome anymore. But yeah, here's just me building my my wall. Here is me showing off my nether roof design of my gold farm. At this point in the video, I have finally accomplished golden apples as a food source. So I no longer need gold carrots. I have an infinite supply of apples from my farmers and an infinite supply of gold from this gold farm to where I no longer need any type of food source besides golden apples. And those give me 2 extra hearts every time I eat one. Although they may not be the most fulfilling food source out there and saturating food source, the 2 hearts does come into play. The gold farm was easily the most rewarding build that I had made in this world. Not only did it give me infinite amounts of gold to supply my golden apple, it gave me a substantial amount of experience, which then allowed me to just gain a stupid amount of levels throughout the rest of the video. So they kind of just fall down here, over that trap door. And yeah, send them down here. Oh my god, look at all that XP, all that XP. Look at this. After all of this, I realized there was still one thing in the game that I had not conquered, and that was an ocean monument. My experience with ocean monuments was not yet up to par. I did have to watch a few videos on how to actually conquer them myself. But with a few water breathing potions and a few sponges with netherite armor at this point, it was almost inevitable that I would take control of it. At this point, I was just getting bored with the world, and I figured I'd done everything that I needed to do here. So I decided to start creating a bunch of rare mobs with the enchanted trident that I had achieved finally. I decided to create a few brown cows and a few other creatures that you'll see along the way. I do cause a little bit of destruction, but it is worth it. Finally, onto the last build of this video is the aquarium. This aquarium is by far my favorite build of the entire video. It consists of fish, tropical fish, turtles, frogs, dolphins, the axolotls, and with coral, seagrass, the whole deal. You'll see it started off with one little tropical fish, and this became a home of paradise for multiple creatures. Finally, after a long, hard semester in college of grinding Minecraft, this is me taking one last look at the island mega city that I created for myself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.